about the Messi thing.
Anything else on the Messi front, Chris, before we move on?
No, I'm done. I'm done.
I'm falling out. I told you, I never want to bring this guy's name up again.
I don't know, man. This Messi thing is just a freaking mess. What a disaster.
I don't want to hear this name ever again until it's official. But they got me back.
No question about it. I am ready to get hurt again.
Chris, the Herons are back. And we got Messi. How are you doing, sir?
Well, I'm better now. I guess I can open one of these, right? Fucking cheers to
I
that.
feel like we could talk
Boom.
about Messi now. He was the name who shall not be
Finally.
spoken. He was Voldemort himself. We could not speak that name because it just gave us a cringe. And honestly, as much as I heard people say it's gonna happen, I had my doubts. But today was a beautiful day. We now have the greatest player of all time wearing La Rosa y Negra. And I'm just excited, man. It came to a point where I was like, I don't even know what I'm going to say. But you know what I was also thinking? I am an Inter Miami fan from day one, and I am an Inter Miami content consumer. I listen to every single podcast, YouTube video, all of it. From Inter Miami podcast to Heron Outlet to Miami Total Football Radio to all of them. And if I didn't mention one, I'm sorry, La Ventanita, all you guys. I love you all. I listen to you all. But then I was like, man, but it's almost Thursday. Half of them already dropped episodes. I'm dying to know what they have to say. Yeah. So I decided to reach out to them. And the majority of them were gracious enough to say that they would give us some time. So I am here to welcome on a panel of Inter Miami content creators. So let's start here with, we got Franco from Miami Total Football Radio. We got Ian from the Heron Outlet. And we got my man Jay from Inter Miami podcast. How are you guys doing?
Good, brother.
Well, let's start off. Is
anybody doing bad?
Horrible.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely worst day of my life.
Well, let's start off with Franco. Because you got him first. Franco, I'm pretty sure that it's been a crazy day for you, just like it's been with all of us. Yeah. I know that you've been making the rounds. So just briefly, how's it been for you?
It's been a wild day, man. Wild day. Phone's been ringing off the hook so much so that I just went to T-Mobile to buy myself a new one because this one's not going to last much longer. So,
my goodness.
Yeah, I was doing that for the last hour or so. But the phone's been ringing off the hook. People that aren't even into Inter Miami, have never been in an Inter Miami game, but know what I do. I've reached out to their personal friends. And they're like, is this true? Is this really happening? This news is the biggest news of the day, not just in sports, just across the board and in all parts of the world, not just in South Florida, not just in the United States. It's massive news. They did it. They did it. Jorge Mas and Jose Mas delivered. People were doubting their ability to do so, probably rightly so after a few years, but they've done it. They brought on the GOAT, the biggest player that you could probably ask for.
And another, go ahead, Danny. You were saying?
I was gonna say Jay's already at the stadium. I see. Where the pot and pans, Jay?
I live here, baby. I live here.
He's got a sleeper in the back.
How are we feeling, Jay?
Hell of a day. I'm right there, with Franco. Phone's been buzzing nonstop. I've been fighting between 10 to 2% battery all day trying to charge it, and then forgetting that I need to charge it and getting blown up. But I mean, phenomenal day. And, as you guys know, these rumors really started 2 years ago, and it's just been reiteration after reiteration after reiteration of the Messi saga. And then it started to feel like we were getting really close. Started picking back up a few months ago and then really started getting heavy. And I mean, I still can't believe it, honestly. It's an incredible move on behalf of the Moss brothers, of the organization as a whole, MLS, Apple, Adidas, everyone involved. Yeah. It's going to change the face of the league. It's hard to not be excited right now. And I'm sure all of you guys are also experiencing the massive influx of new fans we have coming out of everywhere. So it's going to be a really exciting 2.5 years. And with the other additions that are rumored, I mean, how can you not just smile ear to ear? I'm going to wake up tomorrow and I'm going to ask myself, did that really happen? I'm going to check my phone to confirm it.
And you're right about that. As far as the fans that are going to be, just blasting through. I messaged our ticket rep just saying, hey, happy Messi day. Things must be nuts. And Hunter replies back, it's insanity.
Yeah.
So
I literally just got a text 3 minutes ago, hey man, can you give me season tickets? And I'm like,
oh yeah, no, people.
I'll share a number, but like I don't do ticketing. I don't know what you think I do, but I don't do ticketing.
Now, of course, we got your guys' perspective, and we also have Ian Hess here from the Heron Outlet. And I know that you've been a busy person as well, as I've been seeing on Twitter. How's it been for you today? I mean, have you had to go and stop by T-Mobile and grab a second phone as well? Because I feel like we all have to at this point.
Yeah, I've been lucky in that regard. I did drive by the stadium earlier this afternoon just to see if people were out there. There was like 1 or 2 people, but that wasn't the big celebration that I guess we were expecting. Maybe when Miami Freedom Park comes around, we'll get a little bit more of that. But yeah, just today has been crazy. Interviews like around the world's languages that I'm got to learn because I'm not sure if I speak any of these. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and this is the new reality that we live in, guys. This is going to be the next 2+ years of our lives.
I was supposed to be in Orlando next week I thought that the news might drop next week in Orlando. And I was like, I have to take all my Inter Miami gear and some custom Messi stuff. And I got to run around that Orlando stadium celebrating and get it all on video. That was my plan. I was like, that's what I'm going to do to celebrate. And it ended up happening a lot quicker than expected, because when I started hearing the rumblings, okay, it's going to be a couple days, maybe 10 days, man, over the last 48 hours, I felt like it was like a snap of a finger. Thank God I talked to Trav and he gave me the heads up on the Leagues Cup, because I got those tickets right on time, and Chris unfortunately did not. Now I know you guys are all set. But.
I want to mention the story before we move on here. I was looking at the tickets yesterday, literally on Ticketmaster, and I had the phone in front of me as we introduce here for you guys an audio Calypso. From La Ventanita.
Let's go.
The future is bright in South Florida. Let's go.
And
I need to know, does Daniel own a t-shirt press or something? Where'd you get that fresh?
You know what? Let me take just 30 seconds to plug myself a second. Batteredfans.com is gonna start selling merchandise for not just Inter Miami but all sports teams. Yeah. But it was supposed to be in 2 weeks. But I felt like, you know what? I got to get this rolling out now, with the soft open for Inter Miami. So in the next 2 days, batteredfans.com is going to open up. I'm sure some of you guys have seen the Saved by the Campana shirts that I have, and the Believe shirts and all that other stuff I wear around the stadium. So all that stuff's going to be up ASAP, because I know that this Inter Miami influx is about to be big. So that's my plug. Thank you for pointing that out, Jay. And go ahead, Chris.
Well, no, like I was saying, I'll just try to cut it short. All the seats that were blue automatically just turned into gray little by little. Then the website crashes, and then I reload it, and it says automatically there's no tickets available. It's all sold out. And all of a sudden, I go on StubHub, and they're selling tickets for an arm and a leg. So there you go. Messi's coming, and anybody that has season tickets is going to be able to retire in 6 months, basically.
You see that? You see that scarf back there?
There you go.
No, not anymore.
See, I'm whatever. Y'all said I'm big chilling. How you guys doing? I'm Calypso from 11th podcast. But yeah, this is a huge day. Sorry I was late. We were just finishing our show, so had to sprint over here.
All good.
We did
show. I did have a quick question. I'll start off with Franco. Franco, this team 5-11. Obviously, a number 10 wasn't the only thing missing, but I do think that with a 10, we would have been in much better shape. Everybody assumes with Pozuelo, this team would have won at least a few more games. So with the Messi, you would assume the same. Joseph and Campana might be a little better with somebody giving him service. Do you think that Messi alone, I know that he's going to bring hopefully a TAM, Busquets probably, and another DP, but just the addition of Messi as of right now, does that automatically boost us into probably an upper tier, like as far as being a viable contender for a chip this year?
Ooh, a contender? They're a playoff team. I don't know if they're a contender just yet. I mean, you gotta add in some more pieces around
for
there.
For sure.
You know, they can't score. Messi should help in that regard. So, yeah, I think they become a playoff team. They definitely. I mean, they're not that far off from the playoff picture, even though it feels like they've been at rock bottom for a couple weeks now. But it's within reach. Playoff team, yes. Contender, not yet. We got to see what other pieces they're going to bring in. You can expect what you just mentioned. There's going to be more changes coming. This team that's there today now, and I've heard this from people in and around the team today, players are a little raising their eyebrows, like who's going to be around in a few weeks and who's not, because I mean, there's going to be changes to this roster, absolutely.
Well, and that was going to be a follow-up question because I don't know if you've been around the team today, but I'm assuming, I mean, it has to be some nervous in that locker room. Maybe not for somebody like Campana, but the midfield, the young kids, they have no guarantee that they'll be sticking around once those changes are made because Busquets is probably coming or somebody else of that ilk. So have you heard anything about how the feeling in that locker room?
I mean, I've heard that there's like some nervousness there. There's some, uncertainty as to what's going to happen to certain players. Now, I think the young players you mentioned, I think they're safe, right? They're low against the cap. They're academy players, so Inter Miami is probably going to want to keep them. But the veteran players may not be around much longer. If I'm Gregory, I don't know if I'm going to be around much longer. If I'm Gene Mota, I don't know if I'm going to be around. Nick Marsman, those other pieces.
Ulloa
may not fit. I mean, listen, I'll share this. Been sitting on it for a little bit here. Actually heard this while I was in Colombia, in Medellin. Inter Miami won't let me take a vacation without having news. He's on the way out. Ulloa is on the way out. He hasn't dressed for a few games as you've seen, but he's on the way out. Inter Miami's leading appearance maker. It's been talks that he's going to be out very soon.
I'm sure he'll make it in telenovelas, so he's good. He's fine.
He does look like a telenovela guy, so I could definitely see that.
For sure. Jay, what are you thinking about this team now that we have Messi? I understand, and look, it's common sense. We also need other pieces. But with Messi, do you think our offense takes a huge leap? Because, I mean, we still have Joseph that's looked not like Joseph, and we have Campana, who hasn't necessarily been the Campana that we thought that we would get this year. What are you thinking that Messi's going to bring to this team?
I think we'll definitely be a lot more potent in connecting from the back line to the attack. That's obviously been the struggle, as everyone seems to point out once Pozuelo went out. Will the effect be immediately we win every game? I'm not sure, honestly. There still is a period where anyone needs to adjust to this league. It's not as easy as a lot of people think. Who's going to be around him is key. Do we mimic the recent World Cup Argentinian team, surround them with all the young players who, I agree with Franco, will probably be here for a while just because their salary hit is so low. But it's going to take some time. We're going to have to figure out, are we going to play him as a 10, second striker, put him on the wing? We have seen this team struggle time and time again to get creative, to come through the middle. Otherwise, we're just going to cross it, hope for the best. But if he is on the team, it's going to be a massive improvement. I mean, just the creative ability he has, the shiftiness he has to get past through players, and all the experience he brings. I can only imagine what the practices are going to be like. I mean, you're some of these kids who are, sub 25, and they're going to be getting lessons from Messi day in and day out. So I think it's going to be a work in progress. I'm not expecting fireworks day one. I still think there's going to be an adjustment, but he's not the final piece, right? We've seen the other rumors coming in potentially with Busquets, and there's going to be some moves. I agree. So hopefully we can get some players that complement him and really unlock the attack. Because I mean, it's been really painful to watch at times over the past 3 years.
Ian, we are -6 in goal differential. With that, to me, that says we're an offense away from winning more games. Do you think that our defense is still going to hold us back, even though we have Messi?
No, I mean, the defense has been okay. It hasn't been great. It's been kind of average.
You don't think it's more due to calendar stopping one-on-one opportunities?
Yeah, I mean, right, but it helps to have the best goalkeeper in the league, of course. Yes. I think that you have 5 1-0 losses, you have 5 2-1 losses. That's basically the reason for the -6 goal differential. I think that I hear you guys talking. If you don't think that Messi right off the bat is going to improve things, there isn't another player in the world that could be coming in right now that would make you believe. I mean, this is. No one can. Say it again, Calypso.
If he can't help us, then we're.
At this point, he can't help us.
He's a 35-year-old attacking midfielder, but he is still coming off of time or almost time for the Golden Boot at the World Cup, winning a World Cup, and the best player perhaps of all time. This does transform the team right away. And of course, yes, there are other pieces that need to go. Franco's right that there's going to be an influx in players coming in and out, especially those that are towards the 18, 19, 20 realm of the salary in terms of where that works in the cap and how that's going to work against them. But yeah, I mean, I think that this right off the bat, I mean, yes, you can point to, oh, it took him a little bit of time to get adjusted to PSG, of course, but that's a different level. He's at MLS right now. This should be a day one, at least a little bit of an improvement.
Yeah, and I can definitely see that. No, Danny?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, because you bring up an interesting question. Hypothetically, let's say he's here and the first 5 games we go a draw, a win, and 3 losses. Are we wondering, like, is this gonna be looked at as a mistake if we start doing poorly even with him on the team? Like, is there a chance that we look at this and we're like, oh man, this sucks? Like, I mean, I know that the fans won't turn on him because it's Messi, but as a fan base, you're like, you know what, maybe this wasn't worth it. Calypso.
I don't think so. Unless he either literally breaks his leg the first game in.
Oh, don't say that. Oh,
that's it. I'm gonna clip this because it's happening now. Thanks a lot, Calypso.
Yeah, I know, right? Unless that happens, or like I don't know, something. Like,
it has to be catastrophic.
It has to be. There's no way he can't improve the last team in the third worst team in the league right now. There's no way he can't improve it. Whether it be coaching the young guys or just balling out and scoring hat tricks on Chicago Fire. Like, either way, either in the locker room or on the field, he's gonna help us no matter what. And not to mention, and I like to always look at the business side of things. The revenue he's gonna bring to us, so we can afford other players to put around him. That alone is gonna be invaluable. So he's still Messi. He's still gonna ball out. I don't expect him to like literally score 6 on everybody, like how some people are doing. Oh my God, he's gonna be Orlando 6 here and 6 there and doing all kinds of stuff.
No, he has to create chances. That's the most important.
He's gonna create
thing,
chances. He's gonna ball out. There's gonna be some crazy goals. He's gonna have some goals, but I don't think I'm not expecting the actual world. Like how Franco was mentioning, I expect this to be a playoff team, and then depending on when he gets here and what we have room, we can see maybe we can make a deep run. But I'm more like I was just saying on our show. I'm more excited for next year than anything, to be honest. Next year, I think.
I want this year.
Well,
I want this year too, but I'm really waiting for next year because I think next year that's when all the pieces 100% fall together.
Now, Calypso, one question I wanted to ask you directly, and because I've been seeing a lot of movement with, especially Vice City on Twitter. I saw somebody put up a screenshot. I don't know if it was you, but somebody put up a screenshot that you guys sold out memberships. Like, that's I mean, congrats on that for sure.
Yeah, we sold out our membership. We have to update the website and everything too. I'm not part of leadership, so I don't know how that's gonna work. I will post anything and I'll ask who runs the social media because I don't run social media over there.
Yeah.
Of what that's gonna be, but yeah, whoever runs the website got a thing from like notification like, hey, a lot of the number that you set, like that shit's gone.
yeah, for sure.
So the north section is gonna be very interesting. Even the next home game that we have, and I don't have it up the top of my head right now. Even the next home
July
game
1st.
is gonna be interesting. July 1st. That's gonna be an interesting game. Even the next home game before he even gets here.
Well, now that we're talking about home games, go ahead.
Yeah.
Chris.
No, go ahead. You.
I was gonna ask Franco, have you heard anything about the Hard Rock? Because I know July 21st is what everybody's saying could be the debut, but July 21st is Rolling Loud at the Hard Rock, and that's a pretty big 3-day concert or whatever it is, festival. They're not moving that. So
no.
Messi debuting at Drive Pink Stadium, is that's it?
Looks pretty close to happening. I mean, I guess Marlins Stadium is another option there, but it's going to be Drive Pink with the new parking issues that's going to present some challenges, and I don't know how Inter Miami's going to navigate those. But yeah, unless like it was a good point. I was on the Big O show earlier today talking about it. And, some similar topic came up, and he said they definitely can't play at Hard Rock Stadium long term because the Hurricanes play there on Saturday nights.
Saturdays.
So I mean, that's already a schedule conflict, and they're not going to kick the Hurricanes out, even though it's Messi. I mean, what solution do you come up with there then? So unless Hurricanes go to Drive Pink, I mean, but anyway, it's going to be Drive Pink. I mean, that's what it looks like right now, unless I don't know, unless some money talks with this deal, money talks. So
yeah,
well, enemies will become friends, or best friends, or brothers. So I mean, anything can happen. But
I expected the first game would be at Hard Rock, and then the rest would be at Drive Pink. But who knows at that point?
Well, but the Rolling Loud, I thought the same thing until I heard about the Rolling Loud, and then I was like, I don't know. Jay,
Yeah, they're not
how
moving
much are you
that.
selling your tickets for once that debut comes through?
I do not have tickets, so let's just hope this credentialing thing keeps working out. So we'll be all right. Fingers crossed.
Well, and I feel really bad for some of the people. Like I just put up a comment by Steve Munoz that don't have season tickets, and I mean these tickets they're gonna be just astronomically high. It's gonna be ridiculous, and you have people that legitimately want to go to the game to see the team, not to see Messi specifically, but to see the team. They're fans of the team, and now they get robbed of that because of all the spectacle with Messi. And so, yeah, I mean, like in your case, you don't have season tickets, but geez, for people that don't have season tickets, it's a big loss.
It is. I mean, part of me regrets not buying more of. Well, I didn't buy any, but not buying a ton of these leagues, cups game, and just reselling them. But then, like, I'm not really that guy, not a hustler like that. But yeah, it's crazy. I mean, you see that, and that's part of the Messi effect, right? That's part of the benefit to not only the MLS as a whole, but each individual team is. I've seen so many screenshots of different stadiums or different team schedules, and you look at the pricing options throughout the next 2 months, and it's $80, $90, $100, $80, $80. In Miami, $400, and it's wild. And a lot of people are going to benefit. I think there will be some heavy. We're going to see probably the most kind of ticket peddlers, secondary selling going on that we've ever seen across the league, but. It's going to make a lot of people happy, and it's going to break the hearts of a lot of little kids that just want to go out there and see Messi, but their parents don't want to drop, almost a whole $1,000 on just 2 tickets.
I mean, look at this. I just put up the comment by Inter Miami's favorite attorney here, Andres Castañeda, just because he looks like an attorney in that picture. Starting up to 500, up to 10,000. I mean, this is crazy, Danny. No.
Well, I look.
Sell my body
just because they put it on sale for $10,000 doesn't mean it's gonna stay at $10,000. Everybody, you gotta just try it and see if somebody bites, and if they don't, that price will go down. So no, nobody's paying $10,000. I mean,
maybe Neymar who's here.
Yeah. They got that yacht and that helicopter money, man. I don't think $5 is too much.
They'll splash that.
Franco, now that you bring him up, I know he's in Miami. Have there been any big talks about maybe a bigger name joining Messi? Because when I heard Neymar is in Miami, I know he's friends with Jimmy Butler and he's here for the Heat game. But is there any chance that a Luis Suarez or a Neymar are maybe heading on the way over here?
Yeah, Sky Sports asked me a similar type question in terms of the impact of what this means. And I don't think so. I think Messi's the guy. I mean, maybe you can see a Suarez, maybe, but then what does that mean for Campana and Joseph Martin? I mean, I don't think Joseph's going to stick here after this year anyway. But I don't know. I think Messi's going to be it's just Messi and friends. It's not going to be Messi and so and friends. So Messi's a star attraction, the global superstar. MLS has done everything they can to bring him over. So kudos to MLS for doing so. And I think that's where the chips will be for now. That's where the main focus will be. It'll be Messi and whoever's surrounded him in the team. I mean, Busquets will be here. There's talk about Jordi Alba and Di Maria. I mean, listen, there's something that's up in the air for a question to discuss is when Beckham arrived, the DP rule was introduced, right? It was initially the Beckham rule and then it was designated player rule. Does Messi's arrival now signal another change in roster rules or roster mechanism?
Fourth DP. I've been waiting for a fourth DP.
Will there be more DPs available?
I say 4 DPs.
Will the salary cap or salary budget increase overall as a result of it? I mean, something's going to change. This is not just Messi's arriving and everything stays exactly as is. There's definitely going to be massive changes to the league and the structure. I'm convinced of that. So just a matter of how that changes and what that allows Inter Miami and other teams to do.
I would like to add on to that, though. There was an interview where David Beckham was interviewing Neymar, and Neymar said he's going to come play for Inter Miami, and they shook hands, albeit jokingly. But I want to put it, into the impossible bucket. I don't think it'll happen for a couple of years if it does.
Maybe it'll be a bridge, right? It'll be Messi's last season. It'll be Neymar's first half season, right? From August to the end of the season. I like the way you think, Jay. I like that. Now, Franco, I know you have to go, and I appreciate you taking the time, but I did want to leave you with this one last question before you head out. I've been saying Phil Neville signed the 1-year contract right after Tata left Mexico. I felt like Tata was going to come. What do you think about Tata coming to join Inter Miami?
I think it's a really good chance. I think it's a really good chance of that happening. It makes sense. He's a big name, someone that commands respect. I mean, listen, you bring in an MLS coach or a coach that doesn't have that much credentials, on a bigger scale, respectively speaking, and is Messi really going to buy into that? I mean, you need someone who's going to command respect. Yes, you need to surround that person if they don't have MLS experience with MLS experience, because MLS is a different beast. You touched on Messi arriving and the impact he should make immediately because of his sheer talent. Listen, I've covered Thierry Henry up close. I've covered David Villa, Frank Lampard, Tim Cahill, and most of those guys initially struggle when they come from Europe because it's a different beast. The tempo of the league, the style, the travel.
The travel's the
everything is so different. So I expect Messi to come in and make a difference because of his talent alone. But there are real challenges there that players face that could limit that. Like maybe this season they make the playoffs and they crash out early, or they get eliminated early. I mean, it'd be great if they made a deep run for Inter Miami's sake. But I think next year is the year where they can have more time, another window to build more pieces and have a stronger team. I think this year will be just the initial chapter to Messi's arrival. But we'll see. We'll see how it works out.
Well, Franco, again, thank you for joining us, and just let the people know where they can find you, since we probably have new Inter Miami people watching.
Yeah, I've got a lot of new followers there on Twitter from all
I think all of us have. All of us have.
Saudi characters. I don't even know what letters they are, but at Franco Panizo or at Miami Total Football Radio, the podcast. Yeah, so looking forward to it. It should be an adventurous time, a fun time. It'll be a ride regardless of what happens. It's going to be a lot of attention and a lot of new podcasters, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So appreciate you, and thank you for taking the time, Franco.
Later, guys.
Thank you, Franco.
Big up, bro.
All right.
Well, so one question I have, and I want to bring Ian on this because he was speaking about, as far as the play and stuff. A lot of people are talking about Busquets, and when I was thinking about Busquets in this deal, I didn't know how I felt about Busquets being involved in this deal because he's an older player, right? I mean, Messi's an older player, but Messi's Messi, and Busquets is kind of like that extra side that you get on the main dish that you really don't want. So how do you feel about the deal being packaged with Busquets as well? I mean, do you think it's going to I guess bring more better player or whatnot?
Well, I mean, let's just call a spade. When was the last time you saw Busquets be a transitional defender? And MLS is all about transition defense, right? So I don't know if stylistically it necessarily makes most sense. People that I've talked to, both within the team and scouts outside of the team, have questioned that, especially today, about whether that makes total sense in terms of the fit of the team. But yeah, I mean, it almost looks like this is a done deal as well. Like we were talking about Messi for as long as it was. It's a position of need that is much more so than a Jordi Alba or Angel Di Maria would be. So I think that whether or not we think stylistically it'll benefit Inter Miami, this seems more done than not. So I would just expect it to fit in right away. And how he plays with David Ruiz or Dixon Arroyo, that's a different question.
Well, and apparently, according to the Bled here, that's commenting that I am being completely disrespectful. Jay, do you think that I'm being disrespectful in saying that Busquets is not Messi? I mean, that's pretty clear there.
There's a reason. I'm sorry, Jay. There's a reason why he'd be coming on a TAM deal instead of a DP deal. I'm just putting that out.
I mean, come on.
Exactly. And the people that are saying this are probably fans of Inter Miami as of today. They weren't here for the Blaise Matuidi saga or the Gonzalo saga being benched. We have a disdain for older European players, really, outside of obviously the GOATs like Miami. This was always, I viewed this as always a package deal, right? Like if there was a world where we could just get Messi, that would be ideal. But it seemed like every step along the way, if you want Messi, you got to take the Busquets with it. And while he is older, to be fair, I still think he can perform at a fairly high level. I don't watch a ton of La Liga. I'm an EPL guy. I'm not really sure on his speed anymore, but If we have to take Busquets to get Messi, that's fine. We'll take it. It's a TAM deal. It's not going to absolutely kill us. There's still moves we can make around that. It seems to be a really debated topic. Some people like Busquets quite a bit. I'd say more people don't want him here just because they're still scarred from the Matuidi saga. But the defense and the midfield certainly could use a little assistance. And I think you get guys like that. Busquets and Messi played together. I think outside of the ability they bring, there's going to be a lot of that, coaching the team and the locker room and trying to get everyone cohesive. Because, you bring in say you bring in someone from the MLS comes in and wants to try and instruct people, the team's like, hey, who are you? You're a new guy. Like, we don't have to listen to you. You learn our way. But like Messi comes in, everyone's like, yes, Dad. What's that? What's that?
Yes.
And I think it's just a different beast. I got to run upstairs to grab a charger. My computer's about to die. Excuse me 1 second.
Go for it.
Not to mention Kremeshi is art. Remember, Kremeshi.
That's a long walk up the stadium stairs.
Yeah. He's good.
You gotta go to the press box.
That's got to be at least 20 rows.
Keep in mind, I help put up banners before games, so I have to make that steep ass climb up to the top of the bleachers every game, and it sucks.
Can I just, since we're talking about the stadium, can I just correct something from earlier? The club has a contract with the city of Fort Lauderdale, so they are locked in on a contract to play at Drive Pink Stadium on that lot.
Really?
If they want to go to full on war with the city of Fort Lauderdale, those county commissioners city commissioners have already said they're willing to do it. So before anybody gets excited about possibly playing at Hard Rock or Marlins Park, or I don't know, I think someone said FAU too, this would really be a gigantic breach of contract that I don't think that the team has any desire to deal with, especially building the brand new practice facility like they have.
Do you think that there's a possibility that the 60,000 extra tickets that you would get out of the Hard Rock could pay for those fines that you would get for that breach of contract?
I don't know why the team would have
I
just don't know why the team would have a desire to do that. If you're getting premium ticket sales right now, you'd have to offset that cost with lowering ticket sales for a 60,000 seat stadium that would make it more affordable for fans. That's wonderful for fans.
Yeah.
But from a team and a financial standpoint, that doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense to me when they would have to then deal with all of the problems that the city would probably bring them. I know that fans are eager. That's an easy, simple solution. It's much more difficult when you look at the contracts that the city has with Drive Pink Stadium, with the lot, and then we can get into parking and all that nonsense. But just not to get too in the weeds, I would be surprised if they figure out a way out of this.
Well,
I actually agree with that.
I prefer it in Drive Pink. Go ahead, Jay.
I agree with you. I prefer to drive pink because I live pretty close, but it's like that new hot club or restaurant that opens up, right? And it's only got a limited amount of seating. You go to that club. It might not even be that great inside, but that bouncer is going to keep that line super long, so it gets the appearance like this is exclusive stuff right here. That's true. People are going to keep wanting to see if they can get tickets, and it's going to be, I think, more special to have in that intimate stadium. But I also agree, we do have to respect reasonable prices for the community, as a whole. So I would love it to stay there. I'm so close to it, but I'm already preparing myself for when Freedom Park's developed to make that trip down there and everything. But there's a little marketing in it as well.
Well, definitely going to be more expensive to be out in Drive Pink because obviously less seats, like you said, a lot more exclusive. Getting to on the pitch, Calypso. What are you thinking as far as the first time we see Messi on the field? Obviously, we don't know who's going to be out there, but do you think we're going to play with two strikers up top? Do you think that that's the way that Messi would most benefit? Because I know Jay said that maybe they play Messi as a second striker. If you had to take a guess, what do you think that this offense is going to look like? How would they be lined up front or up top?
It's hard to say now because remember, we technically don't have a coach right now. So who knows? we really don't. We have an interim coach.
The disrespect.
It's not a real coach. Let's be real. We don't have a coach right now. We have a guy who's great. I spoke about this last time with Bernie. He's a great coach, and I think he's gonna do well in the interim, especially because he knows he played with a lot of the. He's like so a fucker. You're right. Especially because he's gonna be good. I hope he stays.
Go put it up again, Chris.
He knows a lot of those young guys. He played with. Remember he used to run our academy, So
he's only holding this up because Franco left, bro.
Exactly. Yeah. He was waiting for Franco to leave.
I was actually hoping to run into Franco to show him the shirt. Listen, if it wasn't for Franco, that moment would have never happened. So,
but, to get back to the actual question, he might try that first, especially because if it's gonna be Tata, he knows how Martinez is gonna play. I don't know how well he's gonna play with. But my only question mark is Campana right now, because he seems very hot and cold. So I don't know how that's going to factor in. But it's hard for me to say specifically what he's going to do without knowing who the permanent coach is going to be. But I think probably he might start with one, and then depending on how Messi feels and how he fits in, then he might go to two, or maybe just Messi just takes over and does everything himself. Who knows?
Ian, how are you feeling about Joseph so far this season? And a follow-up after you tell me how you feel about him so far this season. Do you think that there's a chance that he actually goes back to classic Joseph once Messi's there to serve him the ball, or even with Tata managing?
I mean, well, let me answer the second one first. Do we ever expect him to be able to? I mean, coming off the ACL, coming off what he was Atlanta playing most of his salary, I think everybody sort of understood that you weren't getting MVP Joseph. And that's what you've gotten right now. I think that the thing that I've constantly been saying, if you follow me game in, game out, is that the lack of touches is alarming. He has not been involved. And Joseph is an off-ball player. So I don't expect him to have 60, 70 touches a game. But he's in the 20s most of the time right now. And so he's just simply is not involved in the offense on this team. And, as long as that's the case, you're going to get the output that you currently have. I think for a guy like Messi to come in, do we think Joseph is similar to an Higuain, or is Campana similar to an Higuain? I would argue the latter. And so I think a Messi coming in, if we're doing the whole Pozuelo Higuain sort of comparison like for like, which I think is a little rudimentary, but if it's easy to say, if we're doing that like for like, I'd say that this benefits Campana more than it benefits Joseph.
Yeah.
I can definitely see that. It feels weird to me how Joseph is playing. It feels like he's scared of the ball sometimes, because he's either just dummy it or let it pass through his legs, or immediately pass it back. So the way the way that Joseph has been playing has been very odd to me. He doesn't seem like you said, he plays off the ball, but it just seems like he's literally just scared of the fucking ball. It's wild.
I agree. There's a lot of interplay between Campana and Joseph, and it looks beautiful, but it just seems like there's just that one pass too much. It's just
that's been the problem. They're always trying to do that extra pass, but sometimes and look at the goal that Ian Ian Frey scored. Just take a fucking shot. Yeah, you don't have to pass it 15 times in the 60. Yeah, sometimes you just have to just take a shot and just.
I miss Moda.
Sometimes it'll go in.
I miss Moda just saying. I might have a go.
Jay, you miss Moda because you would catch the ball 10 rows into the stands. That's why you miss
if I'm even able to do that at that point. I just got an alert from ESPN, by the way. Messi's move to Inter Miami sees ticket prices skyrocket over 1,000%.
That's what I've been waiting for.
1,000%.
Well, and that's another thing, guys. Charlotte has already announced that they said that they were planning on doing it anyway. I mean, it is on decision day. But they're opening up the upper bowl. Atlanta will open up the upper bowl. The only other football stadium that Inter Miami will play in for the rest of the season, when his expected arrival will be, is in Chicago at Soldier Field. We expect them to open up the upper bowl as well. So, I mean, the teams that have that opportunity are going to take advantage of it.
Well, it really stinks because I wanted to go watch Orlando, because I love to make that road trip to Orlando and watch the game up there. I don't think that's going to be an option for me anymore, because I'm not spending $300-$400 to go watch the game when I have season tickets down here. So it does suck. But I mean,
did you see their tweet? That was kind of lame. Did you see the tweet?
Yeah, it was.
Orlando?
Yeah, it was pretty soft. They put a clip of him of the last game with someone scoring a goal, and they're like, Florida will forever be pink. It's guys, come on.
Or purple, yeah.
Or purple, whatever. Yeah, Florida will forever be purple. Guys, you partly helped pay for this, right? Come on.
Well, I think that's my favorite part.
I've been curious if the Bright Line, how long they're going to run that circuit, or at least allow Inter Miami fans on, because I mean we've all been to the stadium, to the tailgates, to the after parties. I don't know how you're gonna have all these rowdy SGs on one train that serves all the alcohol you want. I feel like that will last about one trip up, and they're like, no, we're not doing that anymore.
We're gonna tip over. Watch. We're gonna tip that shit over.
I'm jealous of y'all. You guys have different game day environments than I do.
Come on out. Come on
Need
out.
to join the dark side, Ian.
I'm over there eating shorty pun and getting fat. He's over there working.
Ian's the most professional one of us all right? The rest of us are.
Yes.
Oh, hands down, hands down.
I feel bad for I got to say this. I feel awful for Michelle Kaufman. She is the sweetest, nicest lady in the world. She has had this vacation planned forever. She is enjoying
She's on
Paris
vacation
with her
right
husband right now,
Mhm.
and the timing could not have been worse.
No.
Well, and
It
I
was
want-
like sharing pictures like in front of the Eiffel Tower, and I was like, "Dang, that's hard."
And I'll touch up on that. Now that you're talking about vacations, we actually tried to reach out for those of you that wanted to see some football Miami TV. We tried to reach out over to Peter Brown, to bring him on downtown Peter Brown, and he's on vacation on the cruise.
Yeah.
So he's got to be pulling his hair out.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. He actually must have Wi-Fi. So he wrote back to me like an hour later. He's like, I would love to, but I'm in the middle of the ocean. I was like, all right. And then Uncle Ed is moving right now. I think he's in the process of moving. So that was rough. But yeah, we wanted to have them on also, but hey, the timing was off. I thought the timing was going to be off for me, honestly, next week. But I was ready to celebrate.
You go on vacation next week.
Yeah, but I was happy about being in Orlando to celebrate. I mean, one better time to throw out the Messi pink shirts.
Do it anyways. Fuck them.
Oh no, for sure,
Yes.
for sure.
No,
Now I got time to plan it out a little better.
We talked about that.
I know. I gotta plan it out a little better now. But yeah, all right. So, Open Cup tonight. So if we win semifinals, and Messi will be part of that. I was talking about it on Austin, with a part of the Heron Outlet, Ian's pod. He had a Spaces on, and I was talking about it earlier. There's a real possibility that Messi debuts July 21st. That first month is Leagues Cup. He has an opportunity to win a trophy there, the first real trophy for Inter Miami, and then let's say 3-4 weeks later, possibly bring an Open Cup title. There's a real possibility. We've been around for 4 seasons, no trophies. I don't count that one from last year, that preseason one. No trophies. I look, hey Jay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you. I'll put it up for you just a second. Right here.
How dare you offend the Coastal Carolina championships?
There you go.
I've been looking for that photo.
Even Gonzalo's like, bro.
I'm gonna put it on a shirt, Calypso. I'm gonna put it on a shirt. I'm gonna send it to you. Okay.
I wanted to post it when we played Charleston Battery last time, but I couldn't find it.
You should have reached out.
No, Danny had to dig. Danny had to dig into the archives to find that picture.
I have it right here now, ready to go, because that's my favorite picture. So, 4 seasons, no trophies. There's a real possibility that in under 2 months, Messi would lead us to our first 2 franchise trophies. Does the timing get any better than that? Because you know those pictures that they put up of Messi, and then that ton of trophies he has. 2 months in, add another 2 trophies. The timing can't get any better than that.
The treble is on.
We still got a chance for sure.
Not even the double.
We got a chance.
It's a long shot chance, but yeah,
there's a chance.
Ian, do you think that the team is focused enough to not get upset tonight against Alabama or Birmingham, Alabama, or whatnot?
Would you be?
No, that's my worry.
At this point,
I don't think they're going to be focused tonight.
And Birmingham's good. I mean,
Are they?
I did a bunch of stuff. You can check out all the stuff that we did with Birmingham on the Heron Outlet. But Juan Agudelo is starting up top for them tonight. So
he scored in one of the last.
Yeah, I mean, their captain played with Javi Morales at Real Salt Lake. The Tommy Sohn, who's their head coach, comes from the Bob Bradley, Peter Novak tree. Like, this team's ready to go. So yeah, I mean, I know that we are like 15 minutes away from kickoff, but yeah, this is gonna be a dogfight. I mean, this team struggled to get past Miami FC. This team has struggled pretty much in every game in the Open Cup, and Messi's not playing tonight. So this is gonna be a dogfight that they're gonna have right now. And I'm scared for the post-game press conference, because they've already sent out that link to all the media, but I mean, I don't know what's going to happen in that right now. Right? Like, are we going to even be able to talk about the post game, like what happened tonight, or is it strictly going to be Messi story time? I really don't know.
Now I have a question for you, since you're in those rooms and in those meetings or whatnot. When the press goes into other franchises, whether it be an NFL or NBA team, they'll tell you straight out, no questions about this. We're not talking about this. Does Inter Miami ever do that to you guys?
Not real. I mean, they haven't done it really to an extent that you've seen with other major professional franchises. I could see them doing it tonight. Good luck.
Yeah, I think if they do, that's the beginning of the Messi era, right? Because that's when things are changing.
I don't even think that they have a chance, even if they say that, just with the amount of people that are. I mean, we saw Miami reporters of local television stations earlier today saying, "Oh, I'm trying to find where my Inter Miami credential is."
I saw that,
right?
Yeah.
So,
I saw that.
Good luck trying to combine them to just like make sure that they only talk about the quarterfinals of the 2023 U.S. Open Cup against Birmingham Legion. I don't think that's going to happen tonight. So let's see. I could be wrong.
I want to get Jay's take on this, but I'm going to answer it first. Steve said, "Don't get ahead of yourself, Danny. We're still a bum-ass team. Messi needs more quality around him." Now, from the back to the front, we have what I think is the best. What I think is the best goalie in the league. We have two solid fullbacks, Yedlin and Negri. We have two solid center backs in Miller and Kristoff. So I feel like back five, we're good. Up top, I think Campana can still be above average. I think Joseph can still be above average. And behind them, Messi serving them, The Rock, I think that's good also. The question mark, I guess, would be the two midfield.
A bum-ass team.
Jay, yes, that's going to be my question. Jay, knowing the roster we have around them right now, not counting what we're going to get, are we a bum-ass team?
Tonight?
No, just like in general.
I mean, yeah, I don't see any improvement, right? I mean, we don't have a real coach. I mean, I don't. I want to be positive here, but I don't know. Maybe some clicks. Maybe it's just the midway mark of the season that Joseph and Campana get it on the same page. But there's nothing I can say with absolute confidence or certainty that we're not going to go out there and drop the ball tonight.
But you don't think if Pozuelo would have been on this team that we would be in a better place? And that's just saying Pozuelo, right? We're not talking Messi. You don't think
100%? 100% I do. Look, so yes, there's been some ugly games, kind of more recent, but there's been a lot of games that were close, and I think we had that not only creator, but someone who could kind of control the midfield both ways, maybe like a Pozuelo. I agree with you. I think we could probably have, 3 more wins on the season, right? We don't like to draw here. We're just going to go the whole season.
Yeah, we don't kiss sisters here. Yeah.
But that's been the one glaring, obvious issue with this team is no one has been able to step into that Pozuelo role. And we all thought Stefanelli, I think everyone preseason rather. I don't know about, you, Ian. But I think most people thought Stefanelli was supposed to be the replacement. And man, that's been a letdown, to put it nicely.
That didn't work out. Yeah. For sure.
Well, I think Coco is, but yeah, I mean, that's a longer conversation.
Listen,
I love you all. You guys are great. I think all the fans, Steve is great. I mean, Calypso, I love talking with you online and everything. But guys, you signed Lionel Messi today. Like, what the hell are we talking about? Like, leave it to disenfranchised Inter Miami fan to be like, oh, we're still a bum ass team. Like, what are you guys talking about? You just signed Lionel Messi today.
But he's not here yet.
He's not just any guy like, oh, we signed a good player. No, we signed like the
greatest of all time
to ever play the sport ever.
But he's not going to join for 6 weeks, so we're still asking between them.
Ask me July 21st. Ask me the same question July 21st. I'll give you a different answer.
But the thing is, if everybody, and I think now I'm not going to speak for everybody, but the majority of people say if Pozuelo was here, this team would look a lot better with the bum-ass roster. And we're not saying Pozuelo. We're saying Lionel Messi, the greatest of all time. You can't tell me that this is still a bum-ass team once we add him, Steve.
I think we would have more wins on the season, less losses, maybe even a draw if Gregory wasn't out for the season, if Mota wasn't shredded.
That was a big loss
as well. I mean, let's be honest. A lot of people can criticize Phil Neville for maybe not being very tactical. He was good at building a culture, and he certainly didn't get a good hand dealt to him when he came over to take this team with a roster he didn't build. And then at the very start of the season, after winning 2 games, you go up to NYCFC and Gregory's knocked out, the ultimate revenge of Matty Pellegrini. So there's been some hardships. The team is doing their best to hold it together. There were some signs of life and improvement in this past game, but we're still going to need some reinforcements coming in this next transfer window. And I'm optimistic for tonight, but it wouldn't surprise me if the unspeakable that we, don't want to talk about happened.
And I agree. I think that Messi takes us from where we are to a playoff team, and I think we need a couple other pieces to become legit contenders. I get it.
No, Ian, you don't think we can slide in?
You
don't think we can slide into that? What?
We're not a playoff team with Messi.
Danny,
yes,
you talk about Pozuelo more than anybody I know. And
because he was the missing piece.
Team a 6th seed last year. You think that
Yes,
Pozuelo is
but with Gregory,
to Lionel freaking Messi?
No, I'm saying that Messi is another world. If you think that Pozuelo can make us a playoff team, then Messi should make us a contender, is what I say. Whatever you think Pozuelo can.
Why are we playing in the 8-9 game, according to you? I just don't understand.
I think with Danny,
I'm trying to bridge the people that say that we're a bum ass team to you and I that say Messi can get us to be a contender. So I'm trying to bridge that gap. So if they say that we're bum ass team, even with Messi, and we're saying we're contenders, okay, fine. So let's say 6th, 7th, and then we add some more pieces. And then I think everybody should agree we can be contenders. Look, and yes, I do talk about Pozuelo a lot because I do think that was a big missing piece. I think that the reason that they signed Joseph to pair up with Campana was because we thought we had a 10 to play them the ball because we thought that Pizarro wouldn't be back.
But if we did not sign Leo, then we would be talking about how poor of a decision this was from Henderson and the front office and the team, right? Because we didn't really have a plan in place. But the fact that we did get Messi, I mean, kudos. They, that was a hard hand to play, and they executed it. So at the end of the day, they were right. I don't, we've been trying to be as positive and supportive and covering this team since before their first game was ever kicked. I don't ever want to say they're a bum ass team. I'd say we're a team of unfortunate circumstances over the past few years. Not everyone comes in and understands the intricate MLS rule book on DP tag, salary cap. It doesn't say explicitly you can't buy someone a house. So
that is true. It doesn't explicitly say that. That is a factual statement.
All right, Paul.
We've been dealt a tough one, man.
According to my lawyer, right here.
Calypso, I got a question for you. I got in the comments, Alejandro. Tickets in my section are going for $5,000. What do I do? What are we doing, Calypso? Are we cashing out or are we going for history?
What you do is you get a time machine and you go back to last year and buy season tickets like I did.
Yes.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
Right.
So remember earlier when Jay said that he wasn't that guy, and now Calypso just said that he totally is that guy.
I'm 100% that guy.
I don't judge. To each their own. I don't have the stomach for it because I gotta ride with like $3,000 worth of tickets, and I don't know if they're gonna get sold. I'm not made like that.
I regret yesterday.
My tickets are for me.
Yeah. Well, I bought 2 Leagues Cups tickets for myself because I was like, I'm scared I'm not going to be able to attend the game. Now I kind of wish I would have bought an extra 2 or 3 because if I would have known that this was a for sure thing, I would have gotten an extra 2 or 3 so I could
have to get my Leagues
sell
Cup tickets. I haven't gotten those yet.
Oh,
good luck because they all disappeared on me yesterday at 6:27 p.m.
Hopefully, Vice City might have a deal for me. Hopefully, I'll see. I gotta talk to the ladies about that. So,
how much do you guys think I can sell my season ticket holder scarf for?
Ooh, that's 20% discount.
Yeah, that's a great question.
For hot
do you think
dogs.
I can sell my season ticket card that says my triple-digit number? Because some people might want to claim that they've been here since day one.
Day one, people.
Yeah, some people want to claim day one. Maybe I can get some money for that.
If you thought that was going to work, you just admitted that you're going to try it on a podcast. So I doubt it's going to work now.
Yeah, you screwed yourself, Danny. You
I didn't
just
tell them what number I
publicized
was.
your own downfall.
Wow. Some people want to claim day one. I'm okay with it. They can claim it.
You're gonna shut that down to some little town in Argentina, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I'm joining the supporters group next season. Yeah. Well, for sure, but they ran out of spots.
Yesterday's price is not today's price, just so you know.
I have a video ready for that.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Great album.
I gotta go, guys. Y'all have a good one.
Yeah.
We appreciate you joining. Just real quick, Calypso, if you, everybody could follow him on La Ventanita. That's his YouTube channel, and Ventanita CF on Twitter. We appreciate you joining, Calypso.
Thank you so much, guys.
All right. Well, I mean, I know we're gonna.
I'm gonna take off in a couple minutes when the game starts, guys.
I know. That's why we started at 7 o'clock. So I guess I'll end it with you two right here with this, and I'll start with Ian. What is a successful season with Messi, like from here to October, and what would be a disappointment in your mind?
Success is Open Cup win, at least making the semifinals of the Leagues Cup. I think that's attainable. Making a decent run in the playoffs, I think, as well. Disappointment would be a loss tonight. I mean, if you don't get past the round of 16 in the Leagues Cup, I guess, and if you are in that 8-9 game, I don't think that there's any reason that this team, especially we're all kind of dancing around it, but we know that there's reinforcements on the way, right? So the team today, after the Messi signing, is not going to be the team that we're talking about in August and September. So knowing that, I think that I guess I'm a little more optimistic than just Messi. But then even if I'm not, you just added the greatest player in the world. So, I mean, to a league that gets crapped on all the time for not being as good as what people say, I think it's a lot better than what people say. But if it's as bad as what the Euro snobs want to say, Messi should be scoring 10 goals a game. I mean, I think that's ridiculous. But obviously, I think that this team should. There's no reason to think that this is not a transformative signing. It is the greatest signing in the history of the league. I mean, in my lifetime, I've been covering this team since I was old enough to walk. And so I think that absolutely, this is the greatest signing in the history of the league. And I think that absolutely you should expect greatness from this.
I agree 100%. Ian, thank you for joining. Okay, go ahead, Chris.
Greatest signing in the history of the sport in America. I mean, it's even more spectacular than Pele going to New York. I mean, this is one of the greatest things to happen for American sports.
Totally
more people exposed to the sport, because we all know that's kind of the biggest issue right now.
Now, Ian, if you could just do us a favor, just let everybody know where they can find you, where they can find the Heroin Outlet podcast, and let them know. Give them the deets.
Yeah, we specifically delayed, so tomorrow afternoon we got the next episode coming out for the Heroin Outlet. So you'll get all of us. What?
That's a good job.
Yeah, no, we delayed on purpose. Unfortunately, it was I was getting Twitter fingers for a while, getting antsy on it. But we have a new episode dropping tomorrow. The Heron Outlet on Twitter, on Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, all that stuff, and the Substack, where you get all the in-depth analysis and away days stuff that's going on with all of my Inter Miami's road games. The HeronOutlet.substack.com, and follow Alex, Austin, Andres as well. You can find all of them online on Twitter. They're awesome. They run this whole thing. I'm so thankful for them as well.
All right. Well, thank you again, Ian, for taking the time, and we will catch you tomorrow night.
All right, guys. Vamos.
All right.
Have a good one, Ian.
And
Jay.
I guess you could pose the same question to Jay. No.
Yeah, Jay's gonna be real with it. What's going on, Jay? What are you thinking?
Mine's much more simple. What's a success is making the playoffs in my mind. What's a failure is not making the playoffs.
Okay.
It's that easy. I'm not expecting us to win the MLS Cup this year. I'm not even going to put too much weight into a trophy really outside of the Open Cup. If we do make it past this round, Cincinnati's a really tough team, even with just getting Messy. That's still a really tough team to play.
I think that's the best team in the East by far.
Yeah, for me, it's the same thing with like fantasy football, right? It's easier to win the championship at the end of the season if you make the playoffs than finish the entire season number one. And for me, it's more the long race. Can we improve? Can we start climbing the Eastern standards again and standings rather? And that's going to be it for me, really.
Yeah.
So if we end the season like we did last year with that first round exit, you're still good? You still think it was a success?
I'm still going to take it as a success for where we are right now, bottom of the East, right? The third worst in the league, and I mean, God forbid we had to play the two teams that are worse off in the league than us because we might lose those even. So yeah. I mean, look, man, the only way to go is up from here. So if we can claw our way out of 15th into the playoffs, I'll take that. If we can make a run, wow! I mean, that's the cherry on top.
I agree with that.
6 points out of ninth place.
Yeah, I agree with that point because it's like you said, the only way to go, from here is up, right? I mean, we can't get any worse than where we're at. So, I mean, it's the sky's the limit for this team, especially after signing one of the greatest players that we've ever seen play the sport.
Yeah. All right. Well, Jay, let everybody know where they can find you. And again, we appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, right up here, section 131, behind that last stand. That's where my cot is now. Check us out, man. We're on Instagram at Enter MIA Podcast. I messed that up. Twitter's at Enter MIA Podcast. Instagram is at Enter Miami Podcast. We're available anywhere you get your podcasts. It's distributed everywhere: Apple, Spotify, Google, Stitcher, 18 others I've never heard of nor used, but we're out there if you do use them. So check us out.
And he does the show with a Viking, so it's a very interesting back and forth.
Do this show with a Viking with Mr. Than Harrington. He's going to be, I'm sure, very active tonight on social media, just given the fact he works a third shift job. So it's going to be nonstop. You reach out to us, man. Join the Discord. You guys already both know about that. It is really, I mean, there's so many great things we've done covering this team, and I love going to the games and interacting with the community. That's probably the one for me, is trying to push the sports to new level and do everything we can to embolden this community and just make it as inclusive and acquire as many fans as we possibly can. And one of the kind of finer points of that not a ton of people are aware of is the Discord, because it's jumping every single minute of every day. There's conversations going on in all the channels. So to all the new fans we have acquired today, we're probably going to initiate that before Messi, after Messi tag on there. Yep. But, reach out to us, either Twitter or Instagram. We'll get you a link set up to come in the Discord, and it's a really good time, and get to meet cool people like Daniel and Chris.
Yeah, man. It's always jumping, like you said. Sometimes I gotta step away because sometimes you kind of get lost in those conversations. It's always a good time. And I wanted to just shout you out also, because you guys were the first podcast I started listening to, because I was watching Inter Miami. I was season ticket holder from day one, but I was never really into listening to podcasts. And when I finally did, looked up Inter Miami, you guys were the first ones to pop up. So I've been listening to you guys forever. So appreciate you and all the work you guys have been doing.
Well, thank you for the continued support.
Yeah, man.
And I'll tell you this much, and I know you're going to ask me if there's anything I want to add, for sure, Danny. And talking about that, the podcast universe, right? I mean, we have a couple comments here. Kata, best Inter Miami verse episode. Jay Vasquez kicks in as well. Great show, great guest. Like this format, Inter Miami Roundtable. I love this episode. The fact that we're able to gather everybody that's from the podcast universe and be able to get everybody involved. This is more familial than people can imagine. It's a shame we couldn't get Miami Football Miami TV with Peter Brown on. But this was a great episode. And for those of you that stuck around and hung out with us, we definitely appreciate it. It doesn't go unnoticed.
Well, Jay, again, I appreciate you taking the time. And you guys are going to be dropping an episode tomorrow?
We're going to be recording tomorrow. We were kind of trying to work around the hecticness of everything going on. Yes. But again, Than works a night shift job, and his son had a soccer team meeting. So we were planning on tomorrow. I was like, hey, maybe we should do it tonight. Kind of got complicated. He was about to do it, but then you fellas reached out, and I was like, this will suffice.
Yes.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time. And again, we'll catch your episode Friday, I'm assuming.
Friday morning it will drop, give you the entire weekend, and man, it's going to be a fun ride this season, I'll tell you what.
For sure. All right, well, thank you very much, Jay, and we'll catch you up later on Discord.
Yeah, exactly. I'll see you boys in 10 minutes.
Yeah. All right.
Later, guys.
Later.
All right, Chris. So now down to 2 battered Herons. Chris, we've been talking to everybody else. I kind of want to get what your thoughts were when you heard the news.
Listen, it's been crazy, right? I mean, yesterday there was the rumblings. Everybody was going kind of hectic online. Today it felt as real as it could ever be, and even looking at some of the tweets, it's like I can't believe you and I spoke. It's like I can't believe this is really happening.
I couldn't believe it
And
either.
there's still some doubt in my mind now, but like
Yes.
we're there, you know.
Yeah.
So finally, we don't have to worry about the whole avoiding the Messi. We don't have to talk about Messi. I mean, finally we can be able to speak.
Bring it
openly
on. Bring it on.
Yeah, now it's all day Messi. I promise I'm not gonna dismiss any of you guys. If you guys want to talk about Messi, now we can officially talk about Messi. It's official tissue, baby.
Yeah, no, it's great, and it's still almost hard to believe. Some people were comparing it to LeBron when he said he was going to come play at South Beach, but this is so much bigger because
Oh my
LeBron
God,
was
it's
big in the
huge.
United States and in the NBA, but he stayed in the country. He stayed in the same league. We're getting what I know. Some people in the chat were saying that he's not the best, might be the second or third best of all time. We're getting one of the greatest of all time in a sport that's well over a century old to come and join our team. Like, I still have to pinch myself. Like, when I got the news, I didn't know what to say. You and I were talking like we should record right now, and I was like, I'm kind of speechless. I really don't know what to say because I've never had like I I started the whole battered fans thing because I never expect anything to go right for me. So getting this player on the team that I root for and I have season tickets for, it's surreal. So I'm really excited, and I kind of wanted to get your thought. What do you think would be a success or a failure in this season? Now that we have Messi,
I think failure is not making the playoffs. Because I would take the ninth seed. I'll take the eighth seed, right? I mean, I guess people can consider that a failure, and I can see where it comes from. But I just want equal or better. I want equal or better, especially for the first season. If when Messi signs on the dotted line, he'll play half a season, or I guess a little bit more than half, or less than half. Next season, of course, the expectations are going to be even grander. So if we're talking about this season, I just want equal or better from what we had last year. That's success in my eyes.
I could agree with that. I think the easiest thing to say is failure. I think if we do not make the playoffs, I think for sure that is a major failure, especially when 9 teams out of 15 make it. 100% that would be a major failure. Right now, we're only 6 points out of that ninth place spot.
Yeah.
So for sure, you should be able to make up 6 points with the greatest player of all time and a couple extra players coming in the summer transfer window. So I agree that as a failure. And as success, yes, either the Open Cup or the Leagues Cup, so that you can get into the Champions League. Because getting into the Champions League next year with Messi on your team, that's a movie all in itself. So I would definitely want Messi to be a part of Champions League. And don't be surprised if MLS or CONCACAF figures out a way to kind of move things around to make sure that Messi's part of that tournament somehow. They'll add in the top 4 teams or top 5 teams or the 9 best East teams. They'll figure out a way to get Messi in that tournament. But I want to see him in that tournament.
And maybe like we talked about on the phone, maybe the MLS might David Stern in. Yeah, with the bent envelope.
Yes. All right. Well, I do think that. I know that we had a lot of new listeners on. I saw a lot of new names, and so we appreciate anybody that was listening. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the channel. I know that this fan base is going to grow, and I know a lot of people were against it. They said that that's the one thing they didn't want from Messi to rise. They didn't want the bandwagon fans to join. I'm all for it, man. I want to see that. The electricity at the stadium. I want to see Inter Miami shirts everywhere I go, whether it be Arkansas or I don't know, in the Philippines. I want to see Inter Miami everywhere. That is my club. I know a lot of people have like a European club, and then Inter Miami is their second club. No, Inter Miami is my club. I want to see it everywhere. I want to see it well represented. I want to see it do well. And it's hard to put into words how happy I am right now with Messi. So much so that I don't know if I could wait till next Monday to record again. So we'll see if we jump back on here at some point. Maybe something else breaks. Maybe we get into Tata Martino a little more. But until then, again, we appreciate you guys watching. For everybody listening on the audio, we appreciate you listening all the way to the end. And those of you that have been with us for a very long time, we appreciate you sticking with us through the hard times. And I mean, only one way to go right now, right? Up. So let's hope we get this Open Cup win today so that we can make the semifinals, and Messi will be there, and we'll see what we do. Chris, anything else for the people?
Until next time, bitches. Thank you for following us, brother.
Wow, that's how we're leaving off our new followers. All right. Thank you guys for joining. That is Chris. You'll get to know him a little better. And we'll catch you. Hopefully the Heat win tonight. And Inter Miami also. It's just
yes.
Look, if Inter Miami wins tonight,
all around
and the Heat go 2-1 in the finals, Miami might explode. It might explode. It might explode. All right. Well, until then, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
Later, guys.